Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am Mike Lowe, and we are in NBA 2K, but really just kind of going through setting up a new MyNBA. I'm having a hard time, and so I kind of wanted to turn this into a stream because I figured you all could help me, give me some feedback. There's just so many great options with this game. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm loving the gameplay. I'm loving the sliders that are out there, which, by the way, are up on 2K Share. Also up on Operation Sports, and just really happy with the kind of the overall setup of the game. Hang on, I'm just checking audio here. Just really. Okay, it is working. So yeah, it's just been a really good game. I think there's just so many places to start, right, and ways to start, and so I figured we could just kind of jump in and just kind of play this together. Get this set up, maybe even jump in and just kind of do some gameplay, talk sliders and that kind of thing. So it's just kind of just a standard Sunday stream, just kind of diving in and around NBA 2K. So if you guys want me to check anything out, let me know. We've done some fun simulations earlier on the channel, kind of doing some like what if scenarios and replacing teams with classic teams and stuff like that. And so again, really just kind of hanging out here. I just wanted to kind of show you my process. And again, really just kind of what I've been doing. I am leaning towards starting in the modern era. I know I've had a ton of people say, like, let's do a classic one. Let's do a classic one. And I think it's so cool. But by the way, this is the roster here that I'm using, which is just the 2K default. I saved it on opening night. So if anyone is looking for that actual roster file, you can just go in, search for my name. I think it's the only roster I even have in the modern section. I think it's the only roster I have, period. But if you search for my name, it'll show up and it'll just be called October 18th because you can't use opening night. It's flagged as like inappropriate or something crazy. So anyway, but you can download that. And that's just 2K's default roster. So I know I want to go with that. I think the only downside with that roster is like the G League is all, it's fictional players and whatnot. And I haven't really seen a roster that I like that has real G League players. And so that's kind of one of my first trip ups is like, do I even use the G League? I don't even look at it. I mean, I guess I send players there for development, but it's so rare when I see it, which is a good thing. And they've improved the game in this way that it doesn't really have a big impact, but I also feel kind of cheap turning it off. Like it's a feature that can kind of make your franchise mode deeper. But I'm not really using it, right? And so, I don't know, I'm just kind of torn there. Sliders, by the way, again, I have a set. It's version 1.5 is the latest, and I have not had a need to do a lot more with this. I don't have version numbers here in 2K, but just know it's the Mike Lowe one. I've updated it 5 times. That's kind of the easy way to see it's 1.5, right? There's been 5 updates, so... but the details of that are up on Operation Sports, and it's just playing really well. It's been a lot of fun, and maybe we can just kind of start with that. We'll just kind of jump into some gameplay, because eventually I want to kind of get into, again, just playing some, what do you want to call it? Just getting into a new MyNBA, basically. I've watched every Pistons game so far this year. It was a frustrating loss to Indianapolis yesterday. They just played sloppy. I don't think you can go back, right? You can like literally only play it's not like MLB The Show where you can kind of flip forward and backwards, but we'll just load in and play the Pistons here. I think I want to play as the Pistons this time. Haven't really messed around with them too much, but I've really enjoyed watching them. And we'll just load up a random team here. And not USA. That's not going to be a great matchup for the Pistons. Or Team LeBron. Come on, what is it doing? Give us an actual NBA team. There we go. The Houston Rockets. That's fine. So, but yeah. So again, this is using my sliders and whatnot. We'll just kind of jump in and mess around with some gameplay.
Starting at point guard at 6 feet 7 inches. Number 2,
And let me know, guys, if there's any issues with the audio. I've been kind of messing around with my headset the last few days, but this game plays so well. This is, I'm just sorry, this is the best sports game on console, period. It just is. It's just so good. By the way, I'm going to be starting a new streaming series, speaking of new sport games. Access Football. Super excited to try this game. I've never played it. I purposely have kind of ignored it. I haven't looked at other streams. We're gonna go in totally blind. I think it releases on Tuesday. So I don't know. Yeah, it could even be Monday night. I'm not sure when we'll actually get total access to that game, but it should be fun. I'm just dying to do a good football streaming series, so it should be a lot of fun. And I imagine like fictional teams, and it'd be kind of fun. Just very, very different angle.
Here's the starting group for Houston. The front court is Tate and Smith.
And I've had a lot of people on this channel ask about, like, well, you know, start an era. There's not a lot of people out there doing streams with MyNBA, the different eras. And I love the feature. I've gone in and I've like jumped in just like this. Just jumped into you know, games in different eras and just kind of looking around, and it's so cool. But there's just like little things that just kind of drive me crazy. Like when I loaded in, I was playing the first game of the 2001, I guess it is, season, the Kobe era, or 2002, whenever that is. And I loaded in the 76ers, and they're playing at Magic, right? And I wanted to play as Iverson, who just is sick in this game. And but like it just bugged me that like when it started, it was like, welcome to Magic Arena. And as far as I know, like that's not what that arena was called. And I'm assuming it's just like a licensing thing. And just like little things like that they just bug me. And so in the modern era, of course, you're going to get like the properly licensed arenas and just things like that. And so I don't know. Maybe that's just being ridiculous. I know it's being ridiculous. It's both, right? It's being ridiculous, but it also bothers me.
Bay in at the small forward. And Brent, finally it's here, the first game of the season. These players, like us, look like they were itching to get this game underway.
Oh, man, all the preparation, the training camp, the taping, the icing, the stretching, the coaching. Let's get it going. Guys are ready to start this long
He didn't pull back at
marathon,
all on that.
and we'll see who can come out on top.
Green finds Smith. Porter against Cunningham. Porter, no luck. Last outing for the Rockets, it was a loss to Milwaukee. Cunningham outside. Pass to Bogdanovich. Connects from three-point range.
There's so much rarity in a wing or big guard like Cade to have that kind of vision. He's special.
Nice move. Porter kicks to Green. And about a minute gone here in the first quarter.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Bay with it. Pass to Ivy. Over Green. The shot by Ivy, no good. Some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, right now you just need a bucket to get some momentum.
And that one's good by Porter.
A whole selfless play right there from Green. He's all about getting it to the open man.
Jane Ivy's so
A
fast.
little over a minute 30 into this first quarter.
Been fun to watch so far this
Stewart with the
season.
screen on Porter. Outside
Ooh,
Bogdanovich.
that's not at all what's trying to do.
The
Nor was
Pistons
that.
working the ball around now. Cunningham passes to Bay. Clock at 4. Detroit needs to get off a shot. Cunningham's
Yeah, not a
shot
great
is off.
possession. I was trying to just do a little pick and roll. And
Early,
I
just
don't
one
know
of
why
four
he
so far.
Porter
threw it
gives
away to
Tate.
the three-point line. But
Here's Şengün. And the shot goes down.
Uncovered at the rim, finding cracks in the defense here early on.
Just really smart basketball and exploiting whatever holes that he's seeing right now in the defensive squad.
Here's Ivy to the middle. Here's Stewart. And the basket is good, and he's got a chance here for one more at the line.
And how about Stewart just showing off?
I actually
that
like some of those
natural
little
strength
animations
that
where
he
like not
has
every player
to
can make
get the
great
and
passes
one.
while jumping,
He's a
and
physical
that
6'8"
messed up the
center for
timing there of that
Pistons, and
play.
it's easy, Greg, to see
It worked
why
out really
Isaiah
well that
Stewart
time, but you
has
know usually
drawn
that can lead to a missed
comparisons
shot,
to another great Piston.
smothered shot, that kind of thing.
Always a good thing being compared to a Hall of Famer. And Stewart, not just brawn.
Isaiah Stewart might have my
brains, too.
favorite
Watch his
nickname in the
film.
NBA right now, Beef
He
Stew.
wants to be great.
GA, the Houston
I
Rockets
just
coming
cracked
off
up the first time I heard
back-to-back
that. That is
losing
such an amazing
seasons, and
nickname.
that has been tough for that franchise and for the city.
And Kevin, no doubt it affects the team's morale. It's hard to find the positive and see the road ahead. But listen, you got to stay strong and focus on just getting better every day. And he's not going to miss that sort of an opportunity from deep.
Now, here's Ivy. He's guarded closely. It's Cunningham with the drive, and Stewart gets it to go.
Just smart decisions, as Cunningham did a great job of setting his guy up.
Rockets have gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. Here's Green. Outside Porter. There's the dish to Smith. No good on the triple. Detroit's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter. Cunningham against Porter. Back to Cunningham. And out of bounds as the Rockets gain possession.
And now let's take a moment to check out the stats for Green. Some last season stats for him. Last year averaged 17 points a game.
I've been messing around with that scenario I talked about of doing like a 6-team expansion where
well, he looks to score, and he looks to score often.
Here's Bogdanovich, and that one
it would be 6 teams basically taking up an entire division in Europe. So like there was a Berlin team, London, Madrid, Paris, Barcelona, and I think Milan was the other team I grabbed. It started kind of messing around with that, which is pretty cool. Hey, what's going on? That is a long username. Autistic Gamer, Mobile, and PC. Hello.
Game of the Detroit Pistons. There are struggles on both ends of the floor, which I'm sure can feel.
Using real free throw and shooting percentage here. I dabbled in both with my slider set. You could probably get away with using timing if you wanted. I just find it's a cool feature. I just feel if you're going for realism, that really real percentage makes the most sense, right?
Now here's Green. His last outing we saw him
uses the player ratings the most.
Back to Porter. Latrey. The Rockets again can't hit. For the Houston Rockets, they come into tonight following a loss to the Bucks in Milwaukee.
Oops.
Crane's
No,
the 19-footer.
Encouraging to see Sadiq Bey just stay this confident and looking for that shot off the catch.
Porter against Cunningham. And the wide open shot from Green. The Rockets again can't hit. Detroit leading by 4. Now here's Ivy. He's gotten some minutes, but nothing on the board yet. Outside Bogdanovich. The pass to Stewart. Shooting foul as the whistle blows. He'll shoot 2 free throws.
Boy, this hurts to have to bring up, but I was there for the Rockets title winning days back in '94 when I was with the Knicks. I saw Houston in the finals firsthand.
Hey Jim, this is nosebleeds, like zoomed all the way out. So good question. I have a lot of people ask about the camera I'm using. Nosebleeds zoom as far out as you can, and it's not like a huge, you can see it's not a huge difference. Yes.
We're just talking about that. Greg,
I feel like all those options are yes. Like, do you want to save it? Yes.
First and foremost,
you want to use this in your next game? Yes. You want to use it for all games?
Yes.
That's a very strange menu, 2K. You're stressing me out.
Really changed games.
And Greg, beyond the lottery,
it's like one of those ACT questions or SAT or whatever.
Looking to make a name for themselves.
Second-round picks are guys let go by their first team. There's an underdog quality to the roster. Guys hungry to prove they belong.
Pistons leading by 5. And the points coming for them now, Greg, in bunches.
And we're seeing what a high-octane offense should look like.
It's tricky to play with a team like you don't. I mean, I know the Pistons, but like, you know, I don't know all of their badges and things like that, right?
Over Green.
Ooh, Jaden Ivey. Oh, terrible pass.
Now here's Ivey, guarded by Porter. Floats one. That one good for 2.
And I like the
pretty cool to see Jaden Ivey's mom at the game, former Detroit Shock player.
Sure, not allowing that big guy to have his way or or alter the shot.
Jaden Ivey's dad, they were talking about it in the game yesterday. Played for the Detroit Lions. Sorry, his grandpa played for the Detroit Lions. It's a really cool story. He just looks so fun. He's so fast. Like, he was a little out of control yesterday. I mean, he was, kind of making... Oops, that's not the pass. Making some, rookie kind of mistakes, a little bit loose with the ball. But, yeah, he's just fun. He'll be good. I really think he'll be a good player.
Cunningham, a screen on Matthews. Here's Ivey. And the rebound goes to the Rockets. Matthews passes to Green.
His mom posted some videos on Twitter and whatnot that of him like shooting hoops in Indiana when she used to play there, or she used to coach there or something, or
to the paint,
or both.
And out of bounds. The Pistons.
I think doesn't she coach at Notre Dame?
So for the Pistons,
I think she's like Notre Dame's coach. But anyway, yeah, pretty cool to see like the videos of him when he was a kid shooting there and then actually playing there in the NBA yesterday. Very cool story.
Now here's Hayes.
Killian Hayes,
Stewart, a
not
for Hayes.
Not such a good, not the best draft pick for the Pistons so far, but somebody do something.
To the wing on the left, Bay. Again, the miss by the Pistons.
And already they've staked out a noticeable advantage in terms of aggression and controlling the backcourt.
And the basket by Gordon.
Well, if Eric Gordon gets the ball from beyond the arc, you have to respect his ability to knock those down.
Now here's Hayes, guarded by Porter. Now Hayes. There's the pass to Diallo. Back to Hayes. Bogdanovich with a screen on Porter. And they'll turn it over. Could not get off a shot.
It took so long to develop.
A different look here for Detroit. Duran, he's checked in for Bogdanovich. And Kevin Knox is subbed in for Bay.
To me, I didn't play 2K22 a ton. Responding to Jim's comment there, but 23 is awesome. Like, I love this game.
Here's Christopher.
Just really, there's just my problem is, like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, I have a really fun Knicks franchise that we've been streaming. We're like 3 or 4 years into it now, and it's awesome. But like, I want to play the games. Like, I don't feel as connected to that as maybe I could, right? Ooh.
Is a PG and he's got vision. So
at the same time, I don't want to just like sit there and play all 82 games. Like, I want to get like a season done, like, and so I don't know. It's hard. It's like with football, it's so easy. There's only 16, or in college football, there's like 12. Even like FIFA, like 30 games, you can handle that. So I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what era to start in. I don't know how many games to play. Like, I truthfully would want to. I want to do like an expansion team, right? That's always fun. Just kind of build it from the ground up. But I don't like to simulate the first season. None of the eras start with a franchise team or an expansion team that first year. No, you can't shoot that.
Stewart in the corner.
I don't mind Isaiah Stewart taking a three. There we go. So like, yeah, none of the eras start with an expansion team, and it's also like what I actually tried. I thought I could get him on the lane. What I tried to do with that European idea with the 6 teams like moving into a new Atlantic division, and we just kind of dispersed the other teams about. I was like, you know what, we can just do this at the start of the season. It'll be fine. Like, we can just pretend that the league just kind of was like, well, if we're going to do this, you guys got to do it really rough. Like, you're not going to be part of the amateur draft. We can just say it got tied up in, paperwork, whatever storyline you want to come up with. But the problem was, like, even when I had, like, with 8 protected players, I mean, the teams were awful. I mean, there's 6 of them, right?
He's with it inside.
Duran's another nice rookie. Youngest player in the league. But, the teams were, I mean, they were so bad. So I'm like, all right, well, I clearly don't want to play like 82 games with.
They did it at jump ball. They've been awesome.
I don't mind playing with a bad team. Like, that's part of the fun of a rebuild, I guess, right? But like, that's gonna get really old. Just getting slaughtered.
That's unheard of.
Bad defense by me.
In Europe, and he really loved his time in France, so he believed The best way for
So I don't know.
his game.
I like literally that's what like this. That's what this stream is. Like I don't. Oh come on. Like I don't know what to do. I want to start a franchise, but we have the Knicks one going, which is a ton of fun, and I could just start playing that. But then I feel like that slows down the streaming series tremendously. Where it's like, hey guys, welcome back. I've played one game because I've been really busy. Like, it's just not a great. Like it's set up so nice for streaming, you know, when you just do simulation stuff. Some of these bench guys I just don't know a ton about. You already lost your dribble, dude?
Here's Livers. His last outing, he had 8 points.
Wow,
Clock is at 3.
what was that?
Kicks to Hayes. Here's Knox, and he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up.
I have the little cheat sheet up there in the top right because I don't know all the ins and outs of the Pistons bench players, at least, like any strengths they have.
And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. The scoring
Knox is a first-round pick by the Knicks. Gosh, he really didn't work out. It's kind of like they're killing Hayes. I mean, just can't really do anything with the ball.
Inside is really important, but it's how close.
Yeah, I like AG. That's a good one. Yeah, I like the name. Don't get me right. It was just long. When I saw it on my phone, I was like, "Whoa, that's a long name."
He's perfect from the line this time.
Just see if it's easier for you. Also, who do you winning? Who I have winning, like in the NBA or in NFL? The only team I'm watching right now, I have a weird like. NFL kind of drives me crazy. Like if that's what you're even talking about, but just I'll give you my 5-second story. Like I love the Detroit Lions. I will watch them every week. If they're 0-16, I'll still watch the 17th game of the season. But like I kind of hate the NFL. Like I just don't love like just the way like they've handled like concussions and stuff like this. I mean, it's just I don't know. Like I get it's a business, but it's like damn, dude, it's just a little bit crazy for me. No, what the hell?
During the pass delivers.
And
they come right back with their own.
So like I now that I haven't done fantasy football in like 6 years. I just totally lost interest in it. So like I don't watch other teams. Like I don't watch Monday Night Football. I don't watch Thursday. Part of it is I just don't care. I'm doing other stuff usually. Like I'll try to sneak out and go golf after work here in Southern California year round. I mean, you can go play 9 holes after work before it gets dark and stuff like that. And so like I'd rather do that than watch Thursday Night Football. Anyway, that's a long way of saying I will watch the Lions. I can't give you any predictions other than that the Lions will probably lose.
Release that one on.
I mean, you can
over to the wing with the shot.
You can put money on that each week, AG. You should do a My League where you play gameplay and do multiple seasons. Could do. Yeah, I mean that's ideally what I'd like to do. You play gameplay, so see, like that's the balance, right? It's like admittedly, I have a hard time like kind of flipping back and forth. Like it's an immersion killer for me. Like, I can do like straight up simming, like we've done at the Knicks. Which again, if you haven't checked out that series, it's been really good. Like I'm not just like this isn't like an ad. Like I have really enjoyed that series. Like start it from the beginning. It's really really fun, and it's one where you, like the viewers kind of act as like the assistant GM. So we've just done some really cool stuff, and it's been really good. Boy, Houston had a rough quarter. And then like playing every game is kind of what I like to do because it really just starts to like live and breathe. Like it just feels fun, you know. It's enjoyable. It's like what I do with FIFA. I mean, hell, MLB The Show I played all 162 games a couple seasons. And,
it's a 10-point game.
So like yeah, I want to play, and then I'm like, all right, maybe I should like be the Pistons because like they're my hometown team and it's who I watch, and I'll learn even more about the Pistons. But then I always feel cheap playing as the Pistons. There's icon passing for you. Comes in handy. Sometimes you can't always trust the controller there. And so like what I like to do, and we'll talk more about this when we kind of maybe get to halftime and we back out of this or something. But when I pick a team, I try to find like a realistic situation. So like I used to always say like, all right, well, give me a team that like fired their general manager or fired their coach, like whatever role you want to be. And then I'll take that team. But the problem with that is, like, you start an opening day or opening night in the NBA, right?
Well, thank you very much. The Rockets are in a full rebuild, and they have a young roster.
Alley-oops are still hard for me. Like, I don't quite understand the mechanics. Like, I've taken video and, like, kind of slow-mo to watch it. And, like, I don't quite understand what I'm supposed to do. Like, I know I have to hit square to like finish the alley-oop, but like I don't get the
No
timing.
shortcuts, David, but the journey
Still
is the
doesn't
reward. They're building
perfect
from the
sense to
ground
me.
up. It's fun
You're
to watch.
gonna give me that? I'm gonna take it.
Thank you for that story.
So what was I saying? So yeah, I like to kind of like take on a realistic role. Like, ooh, like this team hired a new coach. I'll be them. And that makes sense because like a coach isn't really making personnel decisions. And I think if you put all the personnel decisions on like the AI, you can do that. You can start opening day or opening night or whatever. And oh, it took too long. And that can work. But like I like to kind of play the GM role where like I play the games and let the coach kind of do his thing. But like a GM isn't hired on opening night, right? It makes no sense. Like they've already made transactions. They've already gone through a draft. So like you're kind of taking someone else's thing. So then I'll try to transition and say like, okay, well, give me a team that maybe they didn't fire their GM, but maybe they should have or they almost did. Oh. And so I kind of look for that, or I'll look for a team like that actually, like technically they have like a, president of basketball operations, but they don't have a general manager, even though that person does the job of the GM. I'll just try to like, again, come up. I think it's fun for me at least, and I know others do this, like Operation Sports Forum and so on, where you kind of like create sort of like a storyline for yourself. It just makes it a little more immersion. What am I trying to say? Immersive for me. And so I will look for a team that like doesn't have that role. So for a while there was the Timberwolves. Like they had, a president of basketball operations, but they didn't have a technical GM. This year, like Cleveland, I think was a team, but like Cleveland's stacked, right? And so I started one with Cleveland and started looking around, but I'm like, this team is ridiculous. Like they're really, really good and they're young. Like it's sure a fun team to play with, but I don't know. I like a middle of the road kind of team where like I can make the team better, potentially make the team worse. Oh, come on. So, yeah, so anyway, just to kind of go back to that point, it's like picking a team is tough. So not only picking an era, like I want to do an old era so bad. Is he really going to just try to ISO this guy?
Here's Bogdanovich, and he connects with the jumper.
The ugliest. For some reason, my guys aren't doing step backs today. I was trying to step back to the 3-point line there.
And here's Porter.
Bogdanovich is just such a pro. Just 3 games I've watched of the Pistons so far. Dude hustles. Like I've never really, I haven't seen him play up close until he's played for the Pistons here, and he's been really fun to watch. Big time hustle, just
that was big.
Yeah.
They dug a big hole in the first quarter, but starting to show signs of life.
Cunningham dishes it to Ivy. Yep, that one goes in there. And the Pistons lead by 7. And
obviously
so
not really too focused here on game plan. We're just kind of
outside Porter
playing around. But I love these sliders. I'm really happy with them. There's so many sliders in this game. And again, tendency sliders are a big thing. Getting the simulation engine right.
Cunningham looking it over. After 2 misses to start the game, he's on the board.
Cade Cunningham, of course, a lot of fun to play with.
Release from Cade Cunningham that time. Soft touch and arc on that ball.
And you love seeing
this game's so good. We're on PS5, by the way.
And putting that pressure.
Oh, why did I do that?
It's all about threatening.
I had too much coffee, so I'm trying to jump around and block every shot. Still morning here in San Diego.
The worse it seems to get. They need him to get it together.
Now here's Cunningham.
All right, guys, let's do something here.
Back to Bogdanovich. Just
I'm
5
tight
on the
now.
clock. Fires from deep.
There's the step back.
Rebound by Smith. And so it's Porter bringing it up now for the Houston Rockets.
Who do I have? This guy?
They trail by 9 points. Lets it go from deep. It's in and hoping this is the start of a new trend. 2 for 8 now from the field.
They've given up a lot of 3-pointers here today.
Oh, don't fall out.
Cunningham outside. Bogdanovich
Easily.
wide open.
Oh, come on.
Ivy with the
Nice
bucket.
reverse there.
That's a perfect reverse, using the backboard as his friend. Drew the defender.
The Pistons are a fun team. So it all comes full circle. I was saying, like, taking the Pistons, I just feel kind of silly because, like, they have really good management right now and they have a clear vision and they've done a lot with this team. And it just seems ridiculous to like step aside, guys. Let me take over from here. Like it just seems goofy.
And again, it's the Rockets from deep.
They're getting a lot of their
And I don't even mind taking a good team. Like I actually think that's a decent challenge. But like Cleveland, when they kind of fit some of the stuff I was looking for,
Kevin Porter Jr.
I was just like they're just so good. Like I don't even really know
Guys,
what to do exactly. You know.
It can even get a little confusing at times, but no relation.
Yeah, AG, that's cool.
that I'm
YouTube's
aware of.
great for
They're just
downtime.
quarters, juniors,
Tell that to my wife. I try to tell her all the time. Like, there's so much good stuff on YouTube.
For just the
Nope.
fourth time today, it is
Netflix,
good.
Hulu.
That one makes him 4
That's
for
okay.
10.
It's a good balance. We watch lots of good
Guard,
stuff. So
Porter Jr. can rise up with the best of them.
I learned so much on YouTube. Like anything, right? Like history, video games, cars. Like there's just so much stuff you can look up. I mean, obviously, it's completely endless. I'm just kind of button mashing here at
To
the end to
Cunningham.
see what we can do. No foul.
The Rockets pull it in.
I don't think the defense does enough out there to bother him.
Yeah,
I
YouTube's
think
great.
That one's all on him. Just a flat-out miss.
Porter, no luck.
He's not the guy that you want to give a wide-open look. From
So I'm assuming, AG, you have your own channel then, huh?
That doesn't cost him.
What do you stream?
It's the three-point bomb. 9 points for Jaden Ivey.
Oh, Jim, I definitely recommend this game after 22. There's just so much. Like I just even though I haven't really like gone deep into like any of the era stuff, just clicking in. Like I stayed up till like 12:30 last night, just clicking around eras, and like I would jump into like the first half of just a game and just be like, oh my god, this is just ridiculous. And like I know some people are upset about X, Y, and Z, but it's like, why did you take that shot? And that's too late.
He's got so many ways to score.
But I know why,
in the post.
because
Just nifty, uses fakes.
Player ratings matter in that regard, like how close you are, it matters. Like there's certain players on the Pistons that would have easily taken that to the rim,
He's got 5.
but that's just not his game and not his ratings. And I like that.
There's the steal. To the left side wing. Here's Ivy. Off target from the wing.
Shot either.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get many looks better.
Oh.
from that range.
I saw that coming and I couldn't get a steal.
And now just a 4-point Piston lead.
And how about Porter Jr.'s court awareness?
But I want to show you guys my setup, like how I kind of go through.
With the pass.
Now here's Ivy. D right on him.
It's also not a shot. It's not what I'm trying to do.
Great D that time from Green. Porter against Cunningham. There's Green with the 3. Bogdanovich grabs the miss. Bogdanovich has got 4 rebounds now tonight. Bay kicks to Bogdanovich. And the
I'm going to shoot
is good.
threes with Bogdanovich every time they leave him open.
And that's a nice pass from Bay, willing to do whatever he can to help his team.
And Houston calls their first time out of the game.
All right, check some comments here.
Catch and release, not just about fishing. Sadiq Bey last season with the 4th most catch and shoot triples made.
Yeah, Jim, I definitely don't want this game or my sliders or whatever to have a bad team finishing with 60 wins for sure. Yeah, it's not fun. And that's kind of one of the pros of playing in a pro game like this, where like if you suffer through a bad season, you get a good draft pick, and then that next season's a lot of fun because now you're developing a Jaden Ivey or a Cade Cunningham or whatever. And then that's the whole thing too, right? Like, do you use the game-generated draft classes? Like, I love game-generated draft classes because there's no spoilers. It's impossible, right? Like, you just don't know what you're getting, and it just creates that kind of element of mystery, and it's just really cool. But at the same time, I get it too. Like, some of these players just look ridiculous. Like, their names don't really match up. Like, it's like with like like a guy from Lithuania, and he's named like Joe or something. It's just goofy stuff like that, and it just. And again, you can edit all that, but like, I mean, how much darn time do you want to spend doing that? AG, I don't disagree that you can learn more from the internet than you do from school. And I work in higher education right now. I used to be a high school teacher for 8 years. 100% agree. But you can learn from both, right? There's lots of. I think that when I try to break learning down to its simplest form, to me, it's like. Seeking out knowledge, and I don't care if that's from like your older brother or sister or your parents or hell, my dog teaches me lessons about life, or your spouse, significant other, of course, teachers, coaches. YouTube, like seeking out knowledge, like that's the key. Video games, right? Video games have taught me so much about sports. I've been playing, video games since the 80s, sport games, and well before there was even I remember when trading came to NHL 95. That was the first game I remember having trading in it, and going over to my buddy's house after school and just being like, dude, what the hell, you can trade players? Like we have Theron Fleury on the Red Wings, and Mario Lemieux's, Jaromir Jagr's playing for the Red Wings, or what? It was just insane, insane. And now it's just well, duh, of course. Okay, I'm totally not in this game here. What's happening right now? A little far, but
shot by Joseph, no good. Rockets trail by 5. Martin with it. Eric Gordon on the wing. Got it. Good job in the low post. Gordon's got 11 points.
Exquisite move off the dribble from Eric Gordon. No way to guard that.
Now here's Joseph.
We want to set a pick, or anybody want to do anything, or?
Left to the wing.
Nope.
4 on the clock. Diallo kicks to Joseph. From downtown. Bangs home the trifecta. Joseph's got himself going with the triple. His first
it's like I'm checking comments. I'm
and it's Gordon with the ball. He brings it
providing commentary. It's very hard to focus on actually playing basketball. That's okay. That's why we're just playing around here.
To the paint and finished off by Martin.
And he's an automatic finisher when he gets...
Oh, you auto-draft in MLB The Show? All right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Now, here's Joseph.
People play it all differently. People I draft for all 30 teams. All right, man, that's cool. I could not care less how people play their game. I mean, to me, it's if it works for you. I think the only thing I really don't care either way, but the one thing that always kind of miffs me is when people are well, I try to follow real life. I play it day by day, and I make sure the same games are won, and I do the same draft picks. It's why don't you just watch the real NBA? I don't understand. That's already there for you. That's the NBA.
Here's Knox.
And that's the one that just and people just well, no, that's just I have to play. It has to be done that way. Every trade must be the same. All right, I guess.
6 away.
What am I doing? I'm posting up with a 5'7" point guard.
Pass to Gordon.
Yeah, we're just playing around. Still winning by 4 points. That tells you a lot about the Rockets. Maybe that's a team. Team's got to have good uniforms, right? There's a steal. I want to make sure we're seeing enough steals.
And Joseph kicks to Stewart.
Hit it, Stewart. Oh.
And again, it's the Pistons missing. Rockets trail by 4. Pass to Gordon.
Guys, thanks for subscribing to the channel. By the way, we've passed 1,600 subscribers this week. That's super exciting. It's fun. Genuinely fun. I feel like I got friends over here sitting on the couch playing NBA 2K and PGA Tour, all this stuff. It's been fun.
Smith against Bogdanovich. Over Smith.
Nope. Step back to the line, dude.
Detroit keeping it alive. A new 14 from deep. Bogdanovich, no luck.
Just not there from a rhythm standpoint right now. It's really eluding him.
Here's Christopher. He's covered by Joseph. Christopher, the pass to Smith. Outside, Martin. And that shot was up in time, but doesn't go in. And some good action through the first 2 quarters as we reach halftime. It's Detroit. They lead by 1. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
AG's rebuilding the 83 Knicks. That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. You're a Warriors fan. That's cool.
So far? I love our guys. We have a great group of young men that are competing.
Adrian recently got a PS5. Got a hold of NHL and MLB. Using old sliders. MLB might have to get this. Yeah, very cool.
And we'll be back for the third quarter of
Is your slider set up on Operation Sports? Yes, it is. Good question. It's here too. You can download it in game, but it doesn't include everything. Or if it, I don't think it does at least. Let's see. Yeah, player ratings to matter. Yeah, for sure. Recent graduate, congrats, AG. That's cool. But yeah, it's playing okay. Let's look at some stats here. And luckily they haven't patched the game. They haven't gone crazy with updates. There's a lot of updates still, but it's not stuff like that's messing up.
2K trivia, one-on-one.
This is funny.
Tonight,
there's like no scores to show.
Who wins?
Come on, EJ. You think I'm gonna let little man even?
All right.
Talking Pistons now.
Let's see stats,
Close game so far for them.
Coach has to be happy at how they're sharing the basketball. The offense is free-flowing, and as a result,
I mean, part of me just wants to start a new one with the Knicks because I know that team. Like, we've played so many seasons. Like, I know their player tendencies, and like it's just that's one of the things that's hard for 2K for me is that, like, all right, this guy's got the ball. I need to pause a second. So I'm like, wait, who is this? What is he good at? What shouldn't I do with this guy? And then before you know it, it's like, oh, there's 10 seconds on the shot clock. Shit. And so, again, some of that just comes with, you know, you just got to get familiar. Because like I said, now this Knicks team that we've built, 2024 Knicks or whatever, like I can go in and just play with them. And you know, maybe that's what I do, but I just feel like, again, that's going to slow the stream down to like a snail's pace. And, yeah, I don't know. That's not fun either. But I would like to do a stream like this where it's more gameplay focused, and so what if we don't get through 6 seasons? But you guys tell me, like, what's more interesting, like ripping through seasons and off seasons and simulating, or is it just kind of like the slow burn of like, hey, you know, we played 3 or 4 games this week, and I mean, I can, you know, probably play roughly like a game per day or something like that, right? So you'd be able to get through a number of seasons still.
Thanks, guys.
One thing I was reading on OS last night, because another reason I was kind of scared to start with like one of the era setups was like, well, I don't want to play in like 1983, but then all the teams play like it's 2022, like everyone's shooting threes. But I guess like the eras are like set up in a way that like they do play in that particular style, but it's something too that you'll have to be like disciplined about, right? Because like if you, I mean, or not, I guess, right? Like if you go in and play as like a modern team in an old era, you might see some crazy things, but you'd be like, I don't know, you're like this crazy new innovative coach or GM or whatever is doing things entirely different or something like that, right?
Well, that's a shot he can hit if you give it.
It is so fun though, just to like load into the eras and just like look at the rosters. Like it sounds so silly. It's like what, but like I can just seriously do that, and it's just awesome.
Pistons passing it around. Bogdanovich dishes to Ivy. Over Green.
Get it?
5 to shoot.
Yeah.
Pulled the shot a little left, but the bounce goes his way.
How about that? Coming out to start the half, a perfect 3 of 3.
I really liked my Europe idea though. Like I thought it was cool.
Screen on Cunningham. Passes it to Tate.
But I just don't think I can play this 2022 season. And I mean the other options, I could just sim the 2022 season and start with the European expansion in 23. And then just go from there, you know, like here we go, we're going to play as Paris or whatever. By the way, planning to go to the Bulls-Pistons game in Paris this year, January 19th. I have some friends who are already going, waiting on another buddy of mine to kind of confirm.
And a lot of contact on that one, so
but yeah, planning to go over there.
And Brett, what about the play of Cunningham?
Well, he had a solid first year.
Speaking of an interesting video, I should upload to YouTube. I haven't posted it on my gaming channel because it doesn't really fit. But my wife and I were actually in Paris when we were at Notre Dame Cathedral when it caught on fire. Like I was, like, this is no exaggeration. Like I can post a video to prove it. I was probably one of the first like 10 people on the street filming. Even Parisians, like nobody was really taking it serious, and we were just super confused, and it was wild. But anyway,
This guy is capable.
Super
of
wild video. I was on the
things.
news that night. It's crazy. I was actually on the news back in Detroit. I had a friend who I went to high school with, who was a producer at one of the news channels in Detroit, messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, can you be on? Like, I saw your video, and can you come on the news, basically? And so stayed up till like 1 in the morning, Paris time, being it was the first day we got there, so totally jet lagged. Like, I was so dead tired. It was like staying up till like 8 a.m. or something. It's brutal.
Here's Cunningham. He has 7 over Porter. Cunningham gets the bucket. Cunningham's got 7 now in this quarter.
They are on fire right now. That's 4 straight makes.
I'm like just daydreaming through this game right now.
Cunningham against Porter for 3, and another 3 for Houston.
Good to see Porter Jr. knocking down the triple. Needs to keep taking and making those shots.
Now here's Ivy, guarded by Green. Ivy passes to Cunningham. It's rebounded by Houston.
But only the first miss of the second half. They've come out here with authority.
Porter kicks to Green. And another 3
Dang,
for
I
Houston.
got the lead now.
Their third three-pointer in a row.
This is like the real life Pistons.
The first 5 second
Frustrating as F.
80% since the break. Cunningham against Porter. Cunningham gets the bucket.
Oh boy, the touch is coming back here in the second half. Percentages from the field much better than it was at the break.
Porter passes to Green.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the first NBA game. Well, that's not true. The first NBA game I remember playing was like the Electronic Arts. I think they were called like Magic versus Lakers or Magic. What am I saying? Lakers versus Celtics. And it was, I think, literally the first one. It was like you only had like a few teams. Like it might have only been like those teams.
And Bogdanovich kicks to Bay.
Yeah. And so I remember renting those from like Blockbuster Video. But I remember the first game where I actually like played it a lot was probably like NBA 92, something like that, somewhere around there, 93, 94. But it was when the Cavs had like Mark Price and Brad Daugherty, and I loaded up that era and was just clicking through the rosters, and I saw that team, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the team I used like on Sega Genesis. This would be amazing to like, redo it basically, whatever, 30 years later or whatever the hell it is. I like that sometimes that pass can get through, depending on the player, right? There are some players who have like that needle, whatever it's called, badge through the eye of a needle or something.
Have all been threes. The defense is just giving up a barrage.
Cunningham outside. And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
I like how Cunningham just refuses to settle on the play. He gets his shot off and then gets himself fouled.
Check the chat here,
And a
guys.
chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Rockets.
Yeah, and I've thought about that too, Cheetos. I like their name, by the way, Cheetos Monster. That's pretty good. Or Monster. What about 28 to 30 game seasons, so you can still play all the games and maybe. And again, like that'll just bother me as I like look through like the player cards of like, ooh, like let's look at how many minutes. I don't know, like. I like having it all match up. That's actually one of the things I like about my sliders is I can play in 12-minute quarters, and it gives me really accurate output. I mean, very accurate, like perfectly accurate. Like there's no concerns at all for me playing 12-minute quarters.
Right now, I think he's a big factor in how they're getting to the line.
You know what? This score bug, you like can't read the score bug. Like you can't even see the screen. It's too bright, right? Like the text is white. It's kind of weird.
They'll be matching up against Mike Conley.
Yeah, I just have auto subs on. Like I said, I try to play more as like a GM role. Thinking about getting my connection flight. I have to connect, obviously, from San Diego to Paris. Like it's not going to be anywhere close. But I was thinking of actually connecting in Detroit and seeing like a Pistons game on the way.
Stewart, a screen for Cunningham. Pass to Duran.
See if we can just drive this. Nope. Nope. Just curious. Again, testing sliders sometimes. Just can you force things and not really.
And we know Kevin Porter Jr. is capable.
Yeah, NBA Live. Yep, for sure.
The way he's playing, this could be one.
When it was good.
Cunningham outside. Out to the right wing.
Ooh, got him to jump. I wasn't paying attention.
The pass to Bay. 11 feet away. Can't hit that one.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
Houston will take it the other way.
Just not paying attention.
And Matthews kicks to Porter.
Sorry, I was just checking what time it is.
Duran pulls it in.
Gotta watch my Lions lose.
Duran's got 6 rebounds now in the game. Bay passes to Duran. He dishes it to Cunningham. Bay with a screen on Porter. Here's Cunningham.
Ooh,
and the bucket is
it.
good. 3-point play.
See right there, like other players would have pulled up and taken a jump shot there. And so again, it's just me not knowing the quirks of the players here. But a player like Cunningham will take it to the hole. Yeah, they gotta fix that score bug in Detroit. It looks terrible. You can't see it. And it's weird because I don't feel like that was an issue earlier. Like I could see the score just fine. But maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Josh Christopher in for Kevin Porter. Rockets have gotten 8 of their 11 shots to drop since the break. A great third quarter for them offensively. Outside Gordon. To the right side.
I love how like certain players can fight through screens and others. And that's nothing new, right? They've been in the game, but it just works so well.
During the pass to Cunningham.
I love that it's not traveling in the NBA. Like, I took a few steps, but I'll still pick up the ball and then dribble.
To the left wing.
Yeah, see, that's, again, it's just not good enough to throw those passes just yet. Ooh,
it's
nice.
tipped.
Ooh,
But Stewart hustling over. He saw that shot coming, and he was there for the taking.
Here's Hayes.
Oh, I thought that was Ivy. That works.
Slams it in.
Oh, he got fancy.
Duran's been a nice player, too. Dude's super competent, looks like. For just being 18, youngest player in the league. The games I've watched, like, I mean, especially the first game, it's like, wow, he doesn't give a shit that it's his first game in the NBA. Very cool.
Gordon. He's got 11. Passes it to Christopher.
Oh,
takes the
good
3.
grief.
And he's good on the 3 ball.
Sad day.
And the Rockets lead by 1.
In perimeter scoring, I have to imagine it was a topic of discussion at halftime.
Maybe trying to find a little bit more space and ball movement to get guys open at the three-point line.
The Rockets shooting an efficient 53% from the field.
Kate Cunningham just looks so realistic.
Gordon, the pass
It's
to Christopher.
crazy.
It's Matthews on the wing. A 3-pointer off the mark. And it's Cunningham with the ball for the Pistons. At the conclusion of this game, they're off to Washington. And they'll face the Wizards. That'll be just 1 game played away from home for them.
That's 2 points per game or
He's on the
whatever.
inside, knew he had enough room.
The Rockets shooting a stellar 60% since the halftime break. Christopher, the pass to Gordon.
See, this game, like, I wasn't even really planning to do gameplay, just a little bit. I was going to, just like, hey, let's start a new MyNBA. Let's kind of go through the settings, which I still want to do here in a second. But, like, I'm having so much fun playing. This is just an exhibition game, but it's just such a good game. Like, I love it.
Now, Bay, down there. He's got 5. And Hayes kicks to Stewart. There's the double team with Martin. Cunningham outside. And Garuba.
I wanted to kick that over for the 3-point attempt to his right, but I saw it was Duran. Don't want him shooting that.
Here's Christopher.
So, stalled out my own offense. Again, not knowing my players.
To the paint. And so it
Ooh,
looks
good
like
D.
the Rockets will retain possession here.
A moment to check out Cade Cunningham here. Good season for him.
I love that they got Greg
last year.
Mason as the
Averaged
announcer.
17 points a game, 5 assists,
Second year in a row they've
and
had
5
that. It's
rebounds.
just
And
such a
he's
ridiculous
nice
feature.
scoring threat
Again, one of the
in their
bummers of
second
using an
unit. A
expansion
guy
team is you kind of lose some of that
instant offense.
uniqueness.
And he has really settled into this role. For some guys, maybe him, they'd rather come off the bench and do their damage.
Now here's Hayes. He lobs up.
Oh god, like what was that?
It's taken away by.
Like what the hell? And so again, that could be just badge related. Let's see, this was pretty bad. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time here. So we kick it over. To Hayes, and this looked like wide open to me. Like that to me, I mean that's wide open, right? And it wasn't even close. Like he jumped before like he had even So again, some of that's just like these players just aren't really made out for that. Like not every combo on a pick and roll can just, you know, I just don't understand why there was such a delay from Killian Hayes. Like that should have been an easy alley-oop, right? Super easy.
Smith.
So let's see why, right? Let's just take a look. So here's Killian Hayes. Just look at his attributes. So probably playmaking is going to come in. So he's fine. A- should be able to get that done, no problem. I don't think basketball IQ plays a ton in that, but it's not a great score. Where it does matter is he has absolutely no badges at all. So like he doesn't have any kind of playmaking badge. And that was to Jalen Duren here. And so he's got finish around the rim, but again, that's more kind of just backing guys down. Yeah, so he doesn't have it either. And his inside scoring is not terrible, which I think would come into play there. Maybe athleticism, which is A+. So, I don't know. That looked awful. And it's not slider related. Like that one just looked really. But again, like watching the Pistons yesterday, they had a couple plays like that where I was like, "Oh gosh, what are you doing?" Like, it just looked bad, right? So it happens. Not everything's perfect.
His dad being the OG Jabari, all these guys are in that 6'10", 6'11" range.
Oof, that pass is terrible.
Shot by Joseph. No.
Why did he like lob that?
Lead. Here's Christopher. And
it's what a block. Let's go. Oh, run. God, Hayes is so bad.
He started close.
Great long strides there from Kevin.
I'm curious to hear his reception, though. He's from France, right? So that game will be cool.
59 seconds left in the third. Here's Christopher. Outside Gordon. To the inside. And it's slammed in by Smith.
Yeah, take it up strong, big fella.
Detroit's gone 2 of 5 with the three-point shot since coming out of the break. Outside, Joseph. Here's Knox, defended by Gordon. And the rejection by Smith. About 7 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Here's Christopher. Pass to Gordon. For three, Smith.
3.
And that one off the back of the rim and in.
Was it really?
Smith's got the lead up to 4 now for the Rockets.
It's embarrassing. Just like the real life Pistons.
Joseph with the ball. From deep. Here's Durant.
And just like the real life Pistons there. At the buzzer, instead of just like laying it up to beat the clock, they go for a dunk and don't get the points.
The previous play is under review.
Oh, cool. I've never even seen this.
Go to the fourth.
And they're making sure on this one.
This is literally what happened in the Pistons game yesterday. It was a sweet pass by Cade Cunningham. Oh, yeah, clearly after the clock there. At least he tried to just hook it in real quick. Look at him. He's like, that's not going to count. He's talking shit.
The ruling on the floor is confirmed.
Where's his microphone? Where was that ref's mic?
Right
talk about realism.
Everybody's
freaking out about armbands and shoes, and where's the ref's microphone? That was clearly through the PA system. Come on, 2K, this game's trash.
And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Rockets
Checking comments here. Let's see.
Right after this.
AG says, I wanted to be a game dev, but I'm seeing other YouTubers on here that are game devs doing the process. So what? You mean games are being made, AG? Like, don't let that deter you. Go be a game dev if you want. There's no reason you can't do that.
Go to our State Farm assist of the game.
And he sliced the wide open with this
15 subs is good, man. Send me your channel. I'll subscribe to you.
That's what great passing will.
Let's see if I can just do it from the app here. Go to channel. I'm subscribing right now. Bam. There. Now you got 16.
Tense quarters behind us. One more to go. Thanks for being with us as we begin the fourth.
Checking the time real quick, guys. All right, let's do this. So I'm gonna actually back out because I gotta watch my lines here in like 15 minutes. So, but the sliders are playing really well. I wasn't even planning to do gameplay, and I don't know what to do with this game. It's so good. I don't know what to do. So eras. You know, again, I have the Knicks one going here. I deleted the European ones for now because I just can't get comfortable with the setup for it. And I had that Cleveland one kind of opening day, but they're just so good. So here's kind of my process of setting up a new MyNBA. I mean, I kind of memorized it, even my sliders at this point. I'm so torn because these all look so fun. I think I would be sold on one of these if they did one thing different. If they let you pick the year within the era. Like, I want to grab an expansion team, and I want to start in that off season or whatever and like redo it. And the Kobe era just looks so awesome. I mean, there's so many good players in this one, and you get the LeBron draft. It's completely ridiculous. The Jordan era is that's when I kind of remember watching basketball the most, probably. Kind of the tail end of like the Pistons back-to-back championships and so on. I mean, I was like 9 and 10 when that was going on. And so I remember watching that a little bit, just the excitement of, a team in your city winning and that kind of thing. And then Magic and Bird, I remember a little bit of it just because, I mean, how could you not? How could you not be around? Again, from Michigan. Magic Johnson went to Michigan State. I mean, there's just always hype around his game and being in the national championship the year before he got drafted and so on. Winning the national championship, actually, right? So against Larry Bird, and again, that rivalry. But anyway, for me, I don't know. Starting in the modern era, especially because it's kind of opening week here in the NBA, this makes the most sense for me. It's just the one that kind of makes the most sense. I'm not into anime at all, AG. I just never got into it. I'm not into comics. Like, I don't know. It's never something I got into as a kid. Yeah, I've just never really captured my attention. I have lots of friends who are. I have friends who work in the industry, in the comic book industry and that kind of thing. And it's just, I don't know. It's just never resonated with me. But certainly not saying I'm right. It's just, for me. I started turning on, it's not skills. I started turning on tasks, by the way. That's a little bit different in my slider set. I have that off, but I've started to kind of use that a little bit more. Just added challenge. I don't really think it makes anything, easier for you per se. So anyway, my setup looks pretty much like this. I turn all of these on because I think even as a GM, like having control over your budget, it's not like you're controlling the salary cap or anything. It's just like, well, how much do you want to spend on advertising? How much do you want to spend? And I don't know. I don't mind having a little bit of control over that because I have some of these other things turned off, like where are they at? Some of the, what's it called? Like I have facilities turned off, for instance, right? So just gives you a little bit more to play around with. But let's see here. Everything's like that. I mean, again, the other options I could do an off-season start and set up the expansion teams how I want. And then we would be able to go through and do the draft. But that always, to me, just kind of like taints your, opening week start, because now like Jaden Ivey is going to be on some team in Europe or whatever. And I don't know. It's just a little different, I guess. So let's see. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. So all those are on minus fantasy draft, even though I pretty much bypassed most of it. I just in case I ever want to change it, I just get in the habit of keeping that all on. All those are on. Tasks and morale is the only thing I keep on there. All of that's off. That's off. All of that's on. Regular season or wherever you want to start. And that's it, right? So then I just go in and start. I'm using my opening night roster, even though I know the G League isn't set up with real players, but whatever, just don't care. So of course here's like where you could add in expansion teams even at the start, and you could do an expansion team basically on like opening night, and it would work. But the teams were bad. I mean, they don't get to go through free agency, they don't get to go through the draft. They were pretty bleak, like really bad. One thing I did notice that was kind of cool. Check this out. I know some people on Twitter have been complaining about like, oh, I wish you could rename the divisions. I kind of found a weird glitch. Watch when I move all these teams. We'll just, kind of randomly throw them places here. But watch what happens to the Northwest Division here when I get rid of a division entirely. So it's called the Northwest Division. Let's see if I can do it. I think if I remove this one, okay, we're just throwing teams any which way here. It doesn't really matter. But I got that Northwest Division to turn to, it's called the Midwest Division. And I didn't get to name it, but it just kind of happened. And let's see if I can get it here. Once we remove this last team, let's see if it'll do it here. I'll just throw these guys over here. Yeah, so look at Midwest, right? So you can go back, and I'm guessing this is just because it kind of loads up like the old 4 division setups from like whatever it was, the 90s or whatever they used this. But Midwest is in the Western Conference, so like if you wanted to kind of go down to this, you could do 32 teams, and you could do 8 teams in each division or something like that, and just kind of roll with 2 divisions. I wish I could just go to 4 divisions is what I'd like to do, and have 40 teams in a league or something like that, 5 teams in each division or something like that would be really cool. So anyway, we're going to go back and just reset that. So for now, we'll just kind of keep this normal, because I still think at the end of the day, I'm going to be happiest if I just start with kind of things set up the right way. So we're just going to move forward. I have no idea what team I'm going to pick. That's the problem. Autosave's off. 12 minutes. This is literally like memorized by this point. Nothing to change there. Features. The only thing I do here, I turn that off, I turn that off, and I turn that off. Draft class, I just leave at 50 because I'm using user-generated ones for now. I don't touch anything there. Trades, the only thing I adjust on this screen is I put that at 55. I think that's all we do there. Yep. Injuries, that's on. I put this to 25. That's good. Progression, I don't touch. Attributes, I don't touch. Difficulty, I do. So I know some of you are saying like, oh, I feel bad drafting, or I feel bad doing this. These sliders matter. These sliders make it a lot trickier. And I found that this setup here works really, really, really well. That's 85. That's 100. This is 55. This is 55. This is 40. So again, that's the setup I use for difficulty. Works really, really well. A few adjustments here, and this impacts the simulated games, right? So these are all things that will simulate, kind of keep your simulation stats more in line with like the real NBA, or at least last year's NBA. Shots at 30, blocks at 65. And this is simulated. I lower turnovers because it's really hard to generate turnovers in your actual games. Same thing with fouls. And so this will actually have your played games match up. And it's pretty accurate with the real NBA. So really the issue in this game is that they simulated games create an unrealistic amount of turnovers and fouls, right? And so we kind of bring that down to earth, and then it makes your played games actually match up. Shot types I don't touch, but percentages I do. And again, this is for simulation, right? So this is not impacting your played games. These go to 40. Those first two are 41. 3 points, 40. That's 49. Distribution, I don't touch at all. So that's that. Ticker, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with the ticker. I don't change any rules, but of course you can. There's all kinds of different rules you can, load in. But I don't want to swap these rules. What are we doing here? Worst 3 teams. Worst team. I'm just seeing if it saves that. Yeah, so I guess that's the default. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is even having me, like, this is just all rules, but like, why? So I'm confused by the screen. I guess, is this just like what? This is like the set basic NBA stuff? Yeah, like I think these are just all the current rules is my understanding. So anyway, let's just go with that. And then again, team selection. I like to try and just look for a team that, you know, maybe didn't have a winning record or was maybe at 500 or so. So like I wouldn't want to take the Bucks. And again, I just go on their Wikipedia. I go on the actual like general manager's Wikipedia page basically. And I'll just try to look around for either like maybe a GM that's been there long enough where let's just say they get a promotion. And so suddenly like you're backfilling their position or something like that. Or a GM who's on the hot seat last year but didn't get fired, and suddenly the governor, like say you have a really impatient governor, right? So maybe Cleveland would say like, you know what? I thought about it long enough and I should have done it. We're going to do this. And he's got that gambler. You can see the dice there. Gambler attribute. So again, I was kind of looking for teams that had that because it's like, okay, and that's why I picked Cleveland, right? Because I'm like, okay, here you have a GM who maybe he's a little wishy-washy in his decision making. He's a little irrational and is taking a gamble and is just firing on the opening night, firing the GM, bringing in me for some stupid reason. You know, and so again, you can just filter through and look for any team that has that gambler set up and then say, okay, like how'd the team look last year? Well, they won 53 games. Maybe not that team. They're 93 overall. You know, Miami's probably a little too good. So here's the Knicks, right? This is why I originally picked the Knicks because they kind of fit all of that stuff. They were pretty bad. They have a kind of an irrational governor here who's super impatient. But gosh, this made it really hard. Like I was getting fired. I had to turn that off in the first season because I was getting fired. And I thought that was a little too impatient. But trust me, I'm still giving some thought of just going with the Knicks too. So let's see other teams that have. It doesn't have. You don't have to pick someone with the gambler. Obviously, it could just be a team that's bad. Toronto, 48 wins is probably a little high. Here's a real patient. Houston, they were terrible. So that could be. I mean, that's like the total rebuild, right? I mean, this is like, all right, here we go. I mean, you saw how bad they played against the Pistons as we were playing. So that's a team worth considering. And so this is kind of where I've been getting stuck. It's just like, I don't know. I know a lot of people want to take Oklahoma. They have like 6,000 first-round draft picks. That's why I don't want to take them. I just feel like it makes it way too easy. Even though I like their governor. I like that he's going to be patient with me and things like that. That's nice. But so anyway, yeah, just looking around at that. And that's kind of where I have just been kind of stuck. So super curious to hear any thoughts that you all have. I'm going to actually stop it here and just kind of let any feedback come in via the chat, whether it's live here or later on. But going to start watching some football here for a little bit. But I'll be back on for sure on Tuesday, if not sooner. We'll continue probably with our Knicks. Actually, no, I think Tuesday we're probably going to be doing Access Football, hopefully, is the plan there. So, but yeah, I'm on Twitter at MikeLowe47. I've had a bunch of people subscribing to both the YouTube channels and on Twitter, following there. So again, thank you for that. That's fun. Just doing lots of different stuff with franchise here. So, but that's it, everyone. Thanks for watching and thanks for chatting. I will see you all next time.